Are you trying to figure out the secret to happiness? Well, here at What Makes You Happy with Jake Pearson, we want to make that happiness more accessible for you in your life. So stick around as we interview everyday people, inspirational leaders, and your favorite celebrities on what makes them happy. Welcome back to the podcast where we ask you that one simple question: what makes you happy? My name is Jake Pearson, and today we have with us Luke Schembri. Luke, how you doing, man?
I'm very good, thank you, mate. Yeah, 5 minutes, let's go.
Let's go. So, straight into it. What makes you happy?
You know, a lot of things make me happy. You know, when people validate me, it makes me happy. When I see people doing well, it makes me happy. When I can help someone do something great, it makes me happy. When people like my content, it makes me happy. But what makes me truly satisfied is my spiritual practice, because happiness fluctuates. Happy and then down and up and down, up and down. But yeah, I feel like the satisfaction comes from my spiritual practice.
And how did you think you found that spiritual practice being like the main satisfaction to your happiness there?
Good question, man, because I just found that, you know, the happiness I would get, it would always fade away. You know, there's a law that I learned about the other day called the law of satiation, which means that anything material fades. You get a new girlfriend, you're happy for a couple of months, fades away. Everything fades, but that which is spiritual, it lasts. So it's how can we find lasting satisfaction in a temporary world?
And so what would you say to someone right now who is listening to this podcast, hoping to be inspired to find something new for themselves, to discover a little bit more light or happiness in their lives? What would you say to that listener on the other end of these? Headphones on, you know, they're on the train, they're in the car, they're just out for a walk. What would you say to them?
I'd say don't be afraid to use your human intelligence. You know, there's a difference between us and any other life form on the planet, and that's our ability to ask, who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I suffering? How do I prevent suffering? How do I live a peaceful life? And don't be afraid to go deep into spirituality.
So really getting to know yourself at a core, and what makes you tick. Find your origins. Is that basically what you're saying?
Find your origins. That's a very beautiful way of putting it. Find your origins. Where did you come from? And do not listen to mainstream science, because they have no idea what they're talking about, you know, and we're given this, you know, consciousness is coming from the brain. Absolutely no evidence for it. You evolved from an ape. Absolutely no evidence for it. We get told all this nonsense, and it stops us from pursuing the real goal of life. Who am I? When
you were sort of started to diving into spirituality for yourself, what was the steps that you took there?
So, you know, fortunately for me, you know, I was suffering one time. I was going through a terrible addiction, and I was always kind of spiritual. I always believed in something higher than me. But, you know, this time I needed help, and I prayed and I prayed and I cried. And, you know, within 1 month, within a few weeks, I met a monk. And, you know, within 1 month of meeting this monk, I just totally stopped my addiction, and it was a pretty savage addiction.
For those who are at home, is there something else that you may think they can start with that's really simple?
Yes, absolutely. Start with something very small every single day that you commit to. Have something that you, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, the key is for it to be short and daily. If it's daily, you're keeping your mind at bay. You're saying to your mind, listen, I am in charge, not you. And that will grow. Things grow from that. One acorn can make an entire forest.
I love that. I really do. Another thing I love is that a rising tide lifts all boats. And if you're focusing on that one little area in your life, it's going to lift up all the other areas in your life together. So it's like when you start exercising or you start sleeping better, it affects your mental health, your gut health, your strength, your love, your relationship, your stress, how you manage your anxiety, just because of that one thing. Everything just starts to grow. But look, Luke, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing what makes you happy. It has been very insightful, and you've dropped some absolute knowledge bombs. So we'll make sure that our listeners can connect with you through the podcast episode description below. Make sure you check out that, guys. And yeah, Luke, thank you once again.
Cheers, brother.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope it gives you something to think about on your quest to discover what makes you happy. Don't forget to leave a review or a comment and follow us on all our social media platforms so you can see our upcoming guest calendar. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.